So again, for $29.99 for 3 months, including the Nationals, it's a great buy. And again, once you sign up with that affiliate program and linking up, there is a 10% commission for each family member, friend, or anybody that comes in to the program through your site. So again, boatracing.tkdssports.com to sign up for the $29.99 special. Than 1 minute to go for the start. These drivers will begin to work over there on the backstretch, and they'll try to find a spot that gives them comfort and gives them some speed as we get ready to go with these 100-mile-an-hour rockets about 13 to 14 feet in length as these guys get ready to go. Gathering up over on the backstretch now. Seven of them ready to do battle. They'll have to come around all three of the buoys. That last buoy as they come up is called the 500-foot buoy. They have to stay in a straight line. Once they reach that buoy, here they come. Sailor on the inside. Austin Vanover outside. Into that corner. Big wall of water as they go through the corner. All the way to the back.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's racing here at TKDS Sports Network. We're about ready to get things underway here at the U.S. Title Series race here in Constantine, Michigan. Oh boy, here we go. It's about race time. You heard Ray ready. Ray's going to be in. You heard him, folks. Mr. Holy Buckets himself, 30 to the 3, and you're going to hear him. I'm going to bring him in right now.
They've got a lever in the boat. Some of them use hydraulics. Some of them actually can control it by hand, by muscle power. But that pipe will drift back in the corner, and about the middle of the turn, he's starting to pull the pipe again to give him that speed. If you were to hold your right hand out in front of you and spread your fingers as far as they'll go, that is the width of the props that these guys are using. 4 and 5 blade props on these motors, and gives them tremendous speed. Doug Hall on the water right now. That boat will be at 110 miles an hour later on today as he races here at Constantine. Well, the young man that you see on the water right now, Brett Simmons, is in the Hall of Fame, not for boat racing, but for gymnastics. As Brett now on the water in the 88 boat. Well, fans, again, we welcome you on behalf of the American Legion in the U.S. Title Series. We're on live on Facebook right now on TKDS Sports, along with a number of other sites on Facebook. So if you'd like to get a look at that, we'll be announcing all day today for the racing, and that will be on DKDS Sports on Facebook. The driver for the Saxvik Werner Racing, Mike Werner, out of Canada, is here with Mike Sr. He's up in Dunnville, Ontario, Canada, watching on DKDS Sports. The boat owner and team mechanic, Bob Saxvik. From Cortland, Ohio, it'll be the green and black number 55 later on today, as Mike Werner Jr. won the championship in the 125 class a few years back. He'll be a guy to watch for sure. All right, for anybody that's looking for wristbands, they are underneath the big white tent across the road from the judges' stand. The pit passes are over on the other side of the road in the big white tent. Again, fans, we ask your cooperation because of our insurance. We need to have you stay back behind the orange fence unless you have a pit pass. They're only $5, but you can go into the pit area, get a look at all the boats, see what's going on for the weekend. All right, we got another capsule boat headed to the water. Doug Hall back on the water again. Watch the speed down the backstretch. You can hear that motor winding up as he goes down. He wants to get it at about halfway down and run out of prop. Well, Paul Keller in the 52, the yellow and red, has had a problem all morning trying to get that 175 to fire. It gets him off the beach, but only goes about 100 yards. Again, the pit passes are in the big tent opposite the judges' stand area. Will be in the big tent, and they are $5. That will get you a chance to come in and take a look at what's going on with all of the boats. We just ask you to be careful when you're looking at engines because a prop may still be on the motor, and we certainly don't want you to get hurt. So this is test time. The guys are able to kind of get a feel for the speed of the boat, whether the prop is the right prop, whether they've got the right setup. These motors will actually go up and down on a hydraulic system so that when you're going down the straightaway, you want that motor with the hydraulic being up as far as it'll go because you want that prop just barely below the water level. And as they go down through that corner, they'll drop the engine a little bit. That helps the digging, as we call it, through the corner. And then as they come out of the corner, they're letting the pipe had drifted back when they were in the corner. Now they begin to pull the pipe and raise the motor up as they go down the back stretch or up the front way. So these guys are a lot more sophistication than what it was in the days of old when we were racing. The motors that you're seeing, for the most part, are 3 different manufacturers in the 2-cylinder classes. The VRP and the Rossi motors are the two motors of choice. Both of those are built in Italy and are shipped over here to the United States. And then for the 4 cylinders, the Koni engines are the engine of choice for some, but Rossi also builds 4 cylinders as well. I know Doug Hall runs the Rossi motors. The Thurlby crew will run the Koni motors. They'll be out later today in the capsule classes. So it'll be interesting to see which of the engines are going to take the top spot here at Constantine. Again, fans, the concession stand is open, and good sandwiches, cold drinks over there for you. You can see our judges stand working down at the water's edge with an iPad, and that iPad is set up so that just before the clock reaches 0, the iPad turns itself on, and once that iPad is running, it looks right straight down the starting line because we're on what's called a 3-minute clock. You'll hear a cannon go off, and when the cannon goes off, that means there's 3 minutes until the start of the race. Once the start of the race, once that 3-minute gun goes off, what happens then is the drivers have 2 minutes to come out onto the course. Once the 2 minutes have gone by, a white flag will come up at the judges' stand and in both corners, as the drivers then will work themselves over to the backstretch, and then they have to come around all 3 of the buoys as they come up for the start. And as they come up for the start, they have to stay in a straight line as they approach the start-finish line. They're looking at a big digital clock that you see there. That clock is running from the 3-minute down to 0. And what these drivers don't want to do is get across that starting line before it reaches 0. If they do, they're automatically disqualified and will receive no points. Now, Big Pal, can you come to the judges' stand, please? Big Pal. So the iPad that they're working with, that gets turned on just before the start will happen, and then we can look to see which drivers may have jumped the gun. And we've seen drivers that actually jumped the gun by just the nose of the boat, and then others were just maybe an inch or 2 behind it. As they come up for that start, they're looking, and you're going to see them when they're early. That big spray behind them is going to be up and down as they try to slow down a little bit to keep from jumping the gun. But when they're on it, they're at full speed coming for that start. And when you've got 8 or 9 of them headed to the first turn all together, it gets pretty exciting into that first turn. We'll be having our opening ceremonies here shortly. We'd ask Jamie Kurtz if she's on the grounds, if she would come by the judges' stand. Well, you saw the boat 888 trying to get both of the motors to fire up, but unfortunately, when they get loaded up with fuel, they just will not come up to full speed. But what we see is the drivers will go down the straightaway and they'll make a sharp left-hand turn, and that puts a load on the engine, and it usually will burn off the excess fuel in those cylinders. So hopefully, that was Nick Witelka, and hopefully he'll get out, and if he starts to load up again, if he'll make a sharp left-hand turn, he might be able to break that loose. Big Pal, we need you here at the judges' stand. Big Pal. Again, if you would like to purchase a pit pass, if you'll go over to the big tent right behind the judges' stand, opposite the road from the judges' stand, the pit passes are there for $5. And we'd welcome you into the pit area if you'd like to come. All right, guys, listen up. If you're at either of the far end, if you're up toward the first turn or you're down toward the bottom turn, we need to know if you can hear us on the PA. You'll give a wave to Sue. She's looking up toward the first turn. Give her a wave if you can hear her. Now we'll take a look at the bottom corner. If you can hear us, give us a big wave. All right, first turn is the area that we're not able to get up the sound. Again, we'll try to get that fixed up toward the first turn so that you can hear us. Connie Payne, are you close by? There's our leader of the Brats. If Connie would come to the judges stand, please, along with the quote-unquote, the Brats. There we go. Here comes Connie. So all of our youngsters that are involved in the Brat program, if you'll please come to the judges stand. All right, we understand that the flags have been handed out up and down the beach as we will begin our opening ceremonies for you here, fans. Well, fans, as we celebrate the birth of our country on the 4th of July on Monday, we have the freedoms to do what we love and to do what we want. We all have our agency to pick and choose the things that we want to do. And one of the things that we do here is we love boat racing and we love our country, and we want to be able to celebrate on the 4th of July as we get ready to kick off the U.S. Title Series second round of racing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll please rise and remove your caps right here at the judges stand. Just over the top of it, you'll see a big American flag as Jamie Kurtz will render our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Fantastic job by Jamie Kurtz. Thank you, Jamie. Testing, 1, 2, testing. Again, the first turn. Can you hear us down there? Give us a wave. First turn. All right, they got it. How about the bottom corner now? We got it. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Bobby. All right, as we get ready for the opening of our second round of racing, our K-Pro drivers will be up first, and I'm going to need Nick Shakeshaft and David Tenney are our drivers' reps. Our turn judges are Gary Merkel and J.P. Jedwabny. John Palmquist will be our flagger, and Kurt Neidall. Curtis will be on the wave runner for us, and we've got John Boat drivers as well. So we should be ready to go as we have our K-Pro. These are our youngsters. They're 9 years of age up until the day before their 17th birthday. These youngsters have to obey the same kind of rules that their older counterparts do as the K-Pro with about a 7.5 cubic inch motor. But it'll give them about a 50-mile-an-hour ride. All right, K-Pros, get them down to the water. We're going to give you some test time before we turn you loose. K-Pros, get them to the water, and we're going to give you some test time to get on the water and get a look at your boat and motor, make sure everything is good. So again, K-Pro, get it to the water right now, and we'll turn you loose here in a minute. We'll give you about 5 minutes to sort it all out, as these are mostly stock motors, so they're not a whole lot to worry about with whether or not they run. They're pretty reliable. And we've got a new driver that will be with us today in the K-Pro category. A young man out of Oglesby, Illinois. Camden Vasquez will be on the water with Joe Perez from Spring Valley, Illinois. Brayden Griskowitz, who won the first round at Pleasant Prairie earlier this year out of Wadsworth, Ohio. He'll be in the red and black 56. Joe will be in the white with red trim of the 44. And Dawson Smith out of Mexico, New York. He'll be in boat 14. And Camden Vasquez will be in the Z1. As soon as we get our safety boat back out, we'll turn them loose for some test time, and then we'll get ready to roll as K-Pro 125 runabout, 500 runabout, and 175 hydro will be the first flights. In the first flight as we get ready to go for the day. Again, the 175 hydro, the 500 runabout, 125 runabout, and K-Pro will lead us off. We run 3 heats of racing. Each of these drivers will be able to be eligible for 3 heats of racing. Although the K-Pros, we run them an extra heat, but we do that split between Saturday and Sunday. So we'll run 2 heats of K-Pro today, then 2 heats of K-Pro tomorrow. But the 125, the 500, the 175s, they'll run 3 heats. And what happens there is the driver who wins gets 400 points. When the second place driver finishes, he gets 300 points. Then 225, 169, 127, 97, 71. It'll go all the way down. If we had 12 boats on the water, the last boat would get 1 point for having finished. Now, at the end of the 3 heats of racing, we add up the points, and whoever wins the most points, of course, will be the overall winner. But we've had ties before, and our young ladies here at the judges' stand time each driver. And so each driver will receive time for each heat of racing. we have seen national championships decided by less than 1/2 second. But it's very important that they drive all the way through each corner and to the finish line. You won't see them dogging to the finish line if they think they've got a shot at tying up for the first spot. So these guys will work real hard to get as many points as they can. And then if we have a tie, it'll go to the clock. So as soon as we get our safety boat, we see him coming back out. We get him out toward the middle, and we'll turn it loose. All right, K-Pro, you've got the water. K-Pro, you've got the water. We have one driver that needs a half a lap after the K-Pros, and then we'll get ready to roll. That'll give time for the K-Pros to get refueled and get back out. So again, K-Pros, if you're going to test, that boat that's going out there right now has won many, many races over the years. The TBR, Thompson Brothers race boats that they built, and Cooper Thompson has won many titles with that particular boat. As Dawson Smith will be racing that. There's Braden Griskowitz now on the water. His dad, Mark, will be in the 500 runabout a little bit later. The red and black boat that you see just going through the first turn was the winner up at Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, the first stop on the U.S. Title Series Tour. Now Joe Perez from Spring Valley, Illinois, hits the water. We'll look to see if Camden Vasquez will hit now. Dawson Smith in that orange and gray, number 14. Joe Perez on the backstretch in the white boat with the red trim. And there's Braden Griskowitz coming right to the start-finish line, as Braden was your winner up at Pleasant Prairie. Nick Witelka, as soon as we get done with the K-Pros, we're going to give you that half lap. So as soon as the K-Pros are done, you need to be in that boat ready to go.
Wasn't that a 175, Ray? 175?
Yeah, he's a 175. Mark Riskowitz, are you guys good down that way? Give us a wave. All right, they're good. All right, 888, you're on the water. Fired up. All right, for those of you in the first turn, can you hear us? Wave if you can, please. Wave to us if you can hear in the first turn. Mike Creer or Brian Payne crew, can you hear us down there? Mike Creer or Paynes, can you hear us? Mike Creer or Paynes, can you hear us down in the first turn? Wave to us, please. All right, for those of you who are looking for any equipment, Mike Wynant has just a load of equipment for sale as he coming away from some shoulder problems and is going to be selling off everything. He has a B&H 125 C-Mod Hydro with many podiums. It's a consistent runner. They do have a custom tower housing and extensive computer system with all the hardware in the fuel tank. They also have a BH boat, no tower housing or computer, with a wheel and sliding throttle. They have a Rossi 125 with a small bolt cylinder. They also have a Rossi 128 with the newest cylinder, special crank, and race prep by WPT. Then Rossi 175 available with a single cylinder, custom straight heads, ceramic coated, spare coated header, spare piston with big piston ring, 3 pipes in the pipe loops, along with an 11/16 gear case, a VRP. Andy Kurtz. Andy, if you'd come to the judges stand, please. Andy. All right, we do also have a VRP 128, a balanced shaft power head, no carb, no ignition. A VRP 128 with the newest cylinder and head ceramic header. K-Pros to the water, please. K-Pros to the water. Then we've got a V2 VRP 175 twins. It's a winning history on that engine with custom carbs, ports, and heads, spare pipes, spare cylinders and heads, along with 11/16 VRP gear case. We've got two of those. We've got two Rossi 11/17 gear case. Check that, one 11/17 and 11/16 with custom skag. And a lot of 125 and 175 props. So see Mike Wynant if you're interested with a couple of boats and a lot of engines and a lot of spare parts. K-Pro, 30 to the 3. 30 to the 3 for K-Pro Hydro. Again, these are our youngsters getting ready to go. 125 runabout, you need to be in the water right behind them as our K-Pro class with Joe Perez out of Spring Valley, Illinois. The number 44, Braden Griskowitz in the 56, the red and black. Dawson Smith in the gray and orange, number 14. And Camden Vasquez in the Z1 out of Oglesby, Illinois. Those are drivers eligible. And again, our 125, you're up next. All right, as we get ready to go with the K-Pro category, we see Dawson Smith on the course, along with Braden Griskowitz, looking for Joe Perez. He's over there in the bottom corner, and we'll see if Camden Vasquez will hit the water as well. 125s, get them in the water, guys. 125 runabouts, you need to be in the water, ready to go. .500 runabout, you're going to be right after the 125s. So as soon as the 125s get ready to go, off the beach, 500, get them in the water, please. All right, the white flag has been fired. The white flag now up. The drivers know they've got less than 1 minute to go for the start. Again, they have to make sure they don't jump the gun and get that clock to reach 0 just before they get there. All right, some of these drivers like an inside line, some of them like an outside. As they get ready to go for heat number 1, this is 3 laps for our drivers in K-Pro. 3 laps, and we'll run 4 laps for the other classes. So again, 3 laps for our K-Pros. Here they come out of the bottom corner, ready to come for the start. Braden on the inside. Dawson Smith on the outside. As Dawson now leads them over with Braden. Joe Perez on the outside of Braden. They'll go to that first turn. Again, these boats are about 10 feet in length and giving them about a 50-mile-an-hour ride. And I can tell you they'll float right up off the water. We've seen a number of them go upside down. So they have some great speed as Dawson Smith out of Mexico, New York, out front of Joe Perez and Braden Griskowitz for that third spot. 125 runabouts. Get them in the water, guys. 125s to the water. 500 runabout. You're right after the 125s. All right, as they continue now, Joe Perez trying to catch Dawson. Dawson hugging that buoy. Joe turns inside of him. Beautiful turn by Joe Perez as he comes up the inside now. As Joe inside, Dawson outside. What a beautiful turn. You can see how much Joe was able to close the gap in that corner as he pushes Dawson out a bit. Dawson has to give him room. Look at this. Another great turn by Joe as he comes up the inside now. Beautiful turn in both corners has allowed Joe Perez to get a nose out front. Dawson on the outside. Side by side. Look at these two youngsters as they come to the corner. A white flag will come up with one more lap to go. Joe on the inside. Look at this. Dawson trying to squeeze him down a little bit. But Joe peeks out front again as they come for that white flag with one to go. Dawson trying to hold that speed up as he floats it down that straightaway. Look at him. He's all the way in the back of the boat, putting that air underneath. As Perez now into the corner. Stretches out a little bit more of a lead as Perez now down the back stretch. Joe with about a half a lap to go as Joe was at least 50 yards behind Dawson at the start, but his turns have been just magnificent and is able to close that gap. 125s, you're up next. Now Joe Perez will try to gain those 400 points and put a leg up on the other drivers. As Joe now looking for that checkered flag. A great race between these two youngsters as Joe Perez, your winner, with Dawson Smith in the second spot, and Braden Griskowitz will come for the third. As now Braden will look for the checkered flag and finish off heat number one. They'll be back for a second heat later on yet today, and then they'll do two more tomorrow. All right, our next class up is the 125 runabouts with young Ethan Fox out of Council Bluffs, Iowa. He'll be in the blue and orange, number 20. Mike Werner will be in the blue, number 51, out of Dunnville, Ontario, Canada. The yellow nose, the white tail of Brandon Payne out of Center Point, Iowa, boat X3. And Brad Dykert out of Bristol, Indiana, just down the street a little bit. He'll be in the yellow 192. All right, 125s, you need to be in the boat, ready to go. We don't want to leave you, but we're going to go as quick as we can. 500 runabout, you're going to be up next. Again, 125 runabout, and then 500 runabout, and then we'll go to 175 hydro. Those big 500 runabouts, you're looking at speeds out of a 14-foot runabout at 100 miles an hour. And we've got a great group of boats for you. Fans, don't forget, boatracing.tkdssports.com, and you can sign on to our special of $29.99 for a 3-month trial. That will give you every national championship this year. For inboards, the pros, the mods, the stock, and the outboard division, along with the NBRA folks. So again, $29.99. Signing on at boatracing.tkdssports.com. And we also have an affiliate program for you. Once you get signed on, we'll send you a link that you can put on your Facebook. And anybody that signs up through your link, you will receive a 10% affiliate commission for helping us to spread the word. All right, 125s. Get them ready, guys. Again, Brad Dykert ready to go in the 192. Brendan Payne in the X3. 30 to, hold up. Don't forget, we do give a little bit of time, but at the Nationals, we're going to really have to be on the clock. If you have a problem and you get to one of the pit bosses, that time begins at that moment for any repairs that you need to accomplish and get it going. Now we understand one of the drivers has to have just a minute. Well, the battery went dead on him, so they're going to change the battery. Now it sounds like you got it ready to go. The battery's been changed. Again, 500 runabout. As soon as the 125s are off the beach, we need to get you into the water, please. So again, 125s, you'll be coming up. They run 4 laps in the 125. The 125 signifies that it is a 125 cc motor. It's a single cylinder motor, so if you got a problem with the engine, it's the whole engine because there's only one cylinder in them. But even at that, they'll get a 70 to 75 mile an hour ride out of these little one-cylinder motors. So these guys can really get around the course in a hurry. This is a starter course, or starter class, I should say, as we get ready to go with 125. The youngsters that have been running K-Pro, like Brandon Payne, had been running K-Pro for many years, now stepped into the 125 when he got old enough to do so. And that's a great class to be able to give him a little bit more speed as they get ready for their first heat of the day. Later on, Cooper Thompson will be on the water in the 14. And Cooper graduated out of the K-Pro class. That was his boat, the number 14, that Dawson Smith was running. And Cooper now runs the 125 hydro category. And he was on the podium up at Pleasant Prairie in the 3rd spot. What a great run for a rookie. And I don't mean that pejoratively. He was a rookie in a 125 because the speed difference between a K-Pro and a 125 hydro is probably 30 or 35 miles an hour. And when you think about that you're running that much quicker, things happen a lot quicker. But Cooper was able to maneuver through. He turned 14 earlier in the year and ended up being able and eligible to run the 125. So we'll look forward to seeing him up against the David Tenney entries of David Jones and Mr. Palmquist. Brian will be on the water as well, along with Brad Dykert and a number of other drivers. As we've got, I think, 10 of the 125 hydros yet to go today. Now we understand our driver did get his up and running, so he needs just a minute to lock it down and get ready to go. Again, fans, it give you a chance to get over to the concession stand. Again, our thanks to the American Legion for all the help that they give over the years for the title series. We've been here over 50 years in a row. That's quite an accomplishment to have a sponsor that has worked so hard over the years to make this happen, and we thank them for all of their efforts in putting this together. And Pete Adams, we appreciate all the work and help that you've been able to give, along with all the other folks. Don't forget, there's a breakfast every morning here while we're here. Tomorrow will be a great breakfast, a buffet, and we had that this morning. It was great. Tonight there will be a steak dinner. It's $15, and we've got the tickets over at the big tent right behind the judges stand for $15. You cannot beat this meal, I promise you. And we had it last year. It was great. And the Legion, we need to support them. So if you've not picked up your tickets yet, make sure you come by and pick up tickets for the banquet tonight. Well, I think they're just about out of time of trying to fix that. And if they don't, they're going to end up on the beach in the first heat. Pulling Braden Griskowitz in. We'll have to get Braden past Brad Dykert's group before we can send everybody out. All right, drivers, 30 to the 3. 30 to the 3 for heat number 1 of 125 runabouts. 30 to the 3. That means, fans, that I give them 30 seconds warning before our cannon goes off at the 3-minute mark. As Wendy Bosnick will get the cannon loaded up, and will fire the gun here shortly to signify to the drivers that they have 3 minutes to the start of the race. That gives them 2 minutes to come out onto the course. Once the white flag comes up, a driver that's on the beach cannot come to the water. It is a safety issue. They can actually be beached for a year. There it is, guys. White, green flag. You're on the water. 125 runabouts. Again, Brandon Payne on the water in the X3. 192 of Brad Griskowitz. The 20, the orange and blue of Ethan Fox. Out of the Prop Riders trailer. And the 51 of Mike Werner out of Dunnville, Ontario, Canada. There's Brandon Payne in the yellow boat on the water. Brandon out of Center Point, Iowa. Ethan Fox in the orange and blue. 500s, get them in the water, guys. 500s to the water. 500s to the water, please. All right, we see Mike Werner on the water as well. Mike in the blue boat over on the back stretch, following Ethan Fox in the orange and blue. And the yellow of Brandon Payne. His sister Brianna is active in the service, and we thank her for her service. As Brandon in the X3. Great, and Brad Griskowitz finally got that motor just before the 1 minute gun fired. Well, that is about as close as you ever want to get to not being on the water. That was unbelievable as Griskowitz got it fired up Brad Dykert got it started just before Wendy Bosnick fired the cannon. All right, they gather up on the backstretch now. Brandon already in the corner, coming up on the outside. And Mike Werner. 500s, get them ready, guys. 500s to the water. Here they come. Good start. All right. Mike Werner up the inside of Brandon Payne, Ethan Fox, and Dykert as they go to the corner. As Mike Werner out of Canada out front now. With Brandon Payne and Dykert up the inside. Dykert trying to get past as Ethan Fox in that fourth spot now. Werner out front. Dykert now takes the inside and gets that second spot over Brandon Payne with Ethan Fox right behind. Whoa, Ethan Fox got a lot of air as he came through that corner as Werner now out front. Dykert, Brandon Payne, and Ethan Fox. Werner with some good speed down the backstretch now. Out of Dunnville, Ontario, Canada. Unfortunately, last year, Canada was still locked down in the pandemic and was not able to come into the U.S. to be able to race. As now Werner will come through the bottom corner, looking for the green flag to complete lap number 2. 500 runabouts. Get them in the water, guys. 500 runabouts. Well, you can see the speed out of Mike Werner. Even with a one-cylinder motor, he is flat laying it down. All right, the white flag coming up for Mike Werner with Dykert. Brad Dykert now in that second spot with Brandon Payne in that third spot. And Ethan Fox for the fourth spot. All right, less than a half a lap. Well, you can hear Ethan's motor is not running at full speed. It's blubbering a little bit, which is a fuel issue or an electronic issue. As Mike Werner out of Dunnville, Ontario, Canada, coming for the finish and the checkered flag. Brad Dykert for second and Brandon Payne for the third spot. All right, 500 runabouts, you're up next. Well, I call these guys coming up next the 100-mile-an-hour Rockets, a 14-foot boat with 4-cylinder motor with 500 cc's of rompin' stompin' power in a 500 runabout. Jake Emmons out of Muskegon, Michigan, will be in the black and green M96. Andy Kurtz, our bridegroom from yesterday, he'll be in the M8 out of Clio, Michigan. Andrew Thurlby out of Interlaken, Michigan, he'll be in the green M44. Austin Vanover out of Berea, Kentucky, he'll be in the M47, also green, but it has the checkered flag ribbon on the nose. Jason Saylor out of Hamilton, Illinois, he'll be in the black trim clear deck M16. And Mark Griskowitz out of Wadsworth, Ohio, he'll be in the red and black G55. These guys just absolutely fly right at 100 miles an hour with these runabouts. They sit on their knees as they drive with the steering wheel in the right hand, throttle in the left hand, and hopefully the brain is connected in between. These guys absolutely fly, and you'll see some great speed with the Thurlby Automotive team of Austin Vanover, Andrew Thurlby, and Jason Saylor, always top drivers, and Andy Kurtz has really given them the business over the last couple of years. So again, 500s, you need to be ready to go. 175, you're right behind them. 175s, be working them toward the water, please. Yeah, we understand Andy has built the boat that he's going to be driving. The M8, that'll be the clear deck boat. So he's been a busy boy. Got married last night, built a boat. Wonder if he has any time for anything else. Andy, great young man. It was really fun last night to be at his wedding. He and Bailey, congratulations to both of them. You know, one of the things, fans, that we like to point out, we use methanol for fuel. And methanol is a natural occurring material in the universe. I mean, you find it in nature all over the place. So methanol will actually disappear if any of it were to get into the water or anything on land. It will disappear. It is not toxic. The other thing that we do is all of the noise that would disturb fish is above the water. They can't hear our drivers' boats going by because all of the sound is in the air. So that gives the ability to not disturb the fish. And the other thing that you see is the big rooster tails that our drivers throw up as they go down the front straightaway, and then as the turning fin kicks in, it also brings up another edge of spray, and that is aerating the river. And it gives the fish much more oxygen to be able to have in the water. As the water goes into the air, it picks up oxygen as it's falling back to the river, so it actually leaves the river in better shape in terms of oxygen level for the fish. And again, with the methanol usage, our folks at PowerMist supply a lot of our drivers, as we have the PowerMist Power Hour every Wednesday night, and we've expanded now into Tuesday night with motorsports. We interviewed Brandon Thurlby out of the Thurlby Automotive Company and Group. And Brandon was a great guest on last Tuesday night as he talked about driving a late model stock car now. Brandon had won 12 national titles down at Lake Depew, Illinois, over the years that he was driving boats. He retired from boat racing and then picked up a more measured on the stock car issues, runs up at Merritt and a number of other areas, and he'll be racing this whole weekend up at the tracks that are up in the northern part of the state. So it's great to have had Brandon. We'll be looking forward in a couple of days for other drivers that will be involved. We had contact with a fellow named Dudley Malone, and Dudley has been involved in boat racing for many, many years. But if you're a midget or sprint car fan, you might know the name Jerry Coons Jr. And Jerry drives for Dudley, and we're going to get both of them on our PowerMist program and be able to do some interviews with them. And there's a young lady, Kelly Bryson. We're going to be looking to get her as well. So a lot of the things that we'll be doing on Tuesday night on TKDS Sports on Facebook will be with the motorsports on Tuesday and boat racing on Wednesday. So don't forget, if you want to sign up for a great special before the end of the weekend is over, if you'll go to boatracing.tkdssports.com, we have a $29.99 special for 3 months that will give you all of the nationals in inboard, the pro, the stock, the mod nationals, along with the NBRA outboard nationals during that 3-month time frame. And then we have an affiliate program for you that we can put a link together that when somebody signs in and comes on board with our program, you will receive an affiliate 10% commission for anybody that signs on through your link. So again, $29.99 right now for 3 months at, again, boatracing.tkdssports.com. Well, the A-Bears are down in Louisiana at poolside watching our Constantine race. Great family of racers down there in Louisiana. We'll see them in the middle of August up at Centralia, Illinois, as the NBRA Nationals are held there. And we are support program 30-3, guys, 30-3 for 500 runabout. Again, 30-3, guys. You're on the clock. Wendy will be ready to roll here with the start on the 3-minute gun. Again, Jake Emmons. 175s get him ready to roll right after. M96 will be Jake Emmons. Andy Kurtz in the M8. Andrew Thurlby in the M44. As we see Austin Vanover headed to the water already. Now comes Mark Griskowitz in the black and red. Andrew Thurlby on the water. Jake Emmons on the water. Jason Saylor, Austin Vanover, Mark Griskowitz. Well, you can see the speed out of these guys. 500cc motors. Andy Kurtz now. They squeeze that throttle and it just jumps. Andrew Thurlby, Jake Emmons, Jason Saylor. Austin Vanover just going by now. Now we see all the boats eligible for this heat of racing on the water. 175s, get them in the water, please. 175 hydro. You're up next. 175s, please. All right, the 1-minute gun is fired as they get ready now. Well, you can see how far up the course they go compared to the K-Pros and the 125s. They've got such great speed. It doesn't take them long to get around this course. Now there'll be a little pushing and shoving trying to figure out what lane they want as they get ready for heat number 1 of 500 Runabout. Speeds right at 100 miles an hour. Jason Saylor comes outside. Whoa! Had two just about collide. Coming up for the start. Be a good start. Look at that in the corner. Watch this turn. The four of them side by side, trusting one another through the corner. Well, we had one. Griskowitz ended up getting hosed down. As now, look at this. As Emmons up the inside. Both drivers are okay. As Andy Kurtz and Griskowitz collided in the corner. As now Jason Saylor, Andrew Kurt sitting over in the middle as Andrew Thurlby in that second spot. As all three boats went into that corner. Red flag, red flag. We got a red flag as Austin Vanover. Andrew's boat, or Austin's boat, was sinking, and he ended up in the drink. Again, drivers, don't forget, this is a safety issue. Austin's boat was sinking and he ended up in the water. Once that happens, we have to pull the red flag and call the heat. As Austin, the motor stalled on Austin as he went to the corner, and then Mark Griskowitz and Andy had no place to go and ended up hitting the boat. Both of them hit the boat. Hopefully we can get Andy and Mark Griskowitz back on the water. We're going to come right back with 500. All right, 500, we're going to refuel you and bring you right back. 500 Runabout, you're going to refuel and come right back. Andy Kurtz would be eligible to run. We have 2 boats that won't be eligible to run because of the accident, and that would be the G55 of Mark Griskowitz and the M47 of Austin Vanover. All other boats are eligible to run in the rerun of heat number 1. So get them refueled, guys. Bring them, get them ready to go. So those drivers with any issues, please see Jeff Lake. Andy, he's coming down to see you. See if you're ready to go. Well, unfortunately for Austin, when that motor seized up on him, I mean, he was a sitting duck. And unfortunately, what happened was Mark Griskowitz hit him, and Andy Kurtz had no place to go after that happened. But Andy will be eligible, but Mark Griskowitz will not, nor will Austin Vanover, but hopefully we'll see them in the second and third heats. A number of years ago, David Mitchell was really interesting. He, in the first heat of 250 hydro, he ended up where the motor stuck a piston. And with the new style engines that we have, we call it a jug system. And your drive shaft comes up in between the 2 jugs for a 2-cylinder. And with that motor that stuck for Mitchell, he was pretty much disheartened and said, the heck with it, I'm not going to run the second and third heats. But a couple of buddies of his said, look, let's help you. Let's get this thing running. You come back and run the second and third heat. Well, they did. They fixed the motor, got him ready to go again. He went out and he won the second and third heats and ended up winning the championship because the guy that had won the first heat also had trouble in one of the other heats. And so David was able to end up winning the title with 800 points. When normally if you won 3 heats, you'd have 1,200. But because of the fact that the other drivers that were in the heats had issues as well, it afforded David a national championship, even though he didn't want to run the second and third heat. So hopefully we'll see these guys back on the water in a few minutes as we get ready now with the rerun of heat number 1 of 500 Runabout. And then we go to 175 hydro. You're right behind them. Then we start over again with the K-Pro for their second heat of the day. And then 125s, 500, and then the 175. So again, fans, it's time for you to get over to the concession stand. Help support the American Legion. We appreciate all the work that they've done to allow us to be here for the weekend as we celebrate the 4th of July. What a great time that is as we remember the founding of the country. If you ever want to watch a great program about what happened during the Revolutionary War, there's a program called Turn Washington Spies. And it's a series, I think there were 4 years of it, and it is just a tremendous look. And by the title, Turn Washington Spies, there actually was a spy network that was alive and well during the Revolutionary War when the British were here in the country. And people sacrificed their lives so that we could be here today and allow us to enjoy the freedom that we have. So if you're looking for something to stream, it's called Turn Washington Spies. It is a great, great series. Fans, don't forget, if you'd like to come into the pit area, we ask you that you come over to the big white tent, and over there you can find the waivers to sign. It's a $5 charge, but you can walk through the pit area, get a look close up at the boats. Our drivers are very fan-friendly, and they'll help you and talk to you about the boats, the motors, the kind of things that are happening in the pit area. But we just ask you to sign the waiver, the $5 charge for the wristband. We ask anybody that's in the pit area right now that without a wristband, please go back out and come over to the big white tent to accomplish getting the wristband. We appreciate the help. It's because of our insurance. It's not that we don't want you in there. It's just our insurance will not allow us to have that happen. Don't forget, the tickets are still available for tonight's banquet or steak feed that the American Legion is hosting for us. So we invite you to come up, and the tickets are again in the big white tent behind us, behind the judges' stand. So if you're looking for a great meal at a reasonable price, let me tell you, they put on a heck of a feed. All right, 500s, get them your boats, please. 500s, get them ready. We are going to go 30 to the 3 as soon as we get Griskowitz pulled back. As soon as we get Mark back to his pit area, we'll go 30 to the 3. Well, Heather Saunders-Fox is sitting at home, unfortunately, not here at Constantine, back in Council Bluffs, Iowa, but she's watching our stream on TKDS Sports. So, again, fans, we've got a great special running for you right now, $29.99 for 3 months of boat racing that you can stream up onto your big television. That is $29.99 for 3 months, which will catch all of the national championships yet to be run this year. So inboard, the stock, the mod, the pro, and the NBRA national championships will be on boatracing.tkdssports.com for $29.99 for that 3-month special, which ends tomorrow night. Again, if you sign in and allow us to put the link on, our affiliate program will forward you a commission for anybody that signs up to the program with a 10% commission. All right, we're getting ready to go with 500 coming back. Andy Kurtz is ready to go. Again, Mark Griskowitz and Austin would be eligible for the second and 30, and we'll see if they're able to do so. Don't forget, if you're Austin Vanover, Austin, you'll need to come up and get a sign up for the incident report. So if you please come by the judges stand and pick that incident report up. Well, right now, there is a link on our Facebook page that you can go to be able to find a way to sign up for the $29.99 special and the affiliate program as well. So you get a chance, go to the Facebook page of TKDS Sports, and you'll find that link. Andy Kurtz, wave if you're ready to go. He is ready. 30 to the 3. 30 to the 3, guys. 175's right behind him. 175's. Be ready to go as soon as the 500s come off the water. Well, we'll have 4 boats eligible with Andy Thurlby out of the Thurlby Automotive Trailer, along with Jason Saylor, also out of the Thurlby Automotive Trailer, ready to go. Then Andy Kurtz in the M8 out of Clio, Michigan. And Jake Emmons from Muskegon, Michigan in the black M96. Jake, a brand new driver for us this year. And we see Andrew Thurlby on the water already. And we'll look for Andy Kurtz, Jake Emmons, and Jason Saylor yet to come. And we see Jake Emmons on the water on the backstretch now, along with Andrew. And we hear Jason Saylor and Andy Kurtz coming to the water. $175s, get them ready. $175s, into your boat, please. $175s. You are up next. All right, let's see what happens here with Andrew Thurlby and Jason Saylor. We're out front in that first heat try. Now we run the first heat as a rerun. Saylor will be in the clear deck with the black trim. Andy Kurtz in that boat he built himself in the clear deck M8. The green of Andrew Thurlby in the M44. All right, 175s, you need to be ready to go. 175s in the water. Coming up on the 1 minute gun, there it is. Andy Kurtz, Andrew Thurlby, Jason Saylor, and Jake Emmons. Now Jake will have to make sure he'll go through the middle and catch up to the other drivers, as you have to have all 3 of the buoys in the bottom corner on your left as they come up for the start. Jason Saylor leading them out of the bottom corner with Andrew Thurlby, Andy Kurtz, and Jake Emmons to follow behind. Jason will go way wide down in that bottom corner. Andy turns up the middle. Here they come. Good start. Jason Saylor out front of Andrew Thurlby. Andy Kurtz in that third spot. And Jake Emmons. Look at Saylor. He's right at 100 miles an hour down that backstretch. And Andrew beginning to catch him. Watch the corner now. Andrew. All boats are legal. It was a good start. As Jason swings a little wide, holding that 8 RPM up. Jason, a marine mechanic out of Hamilton, Illinois. Andrew with Thurlby Automotive up in northern Michigan, the Traverse City area. And GM for Andrew Kurtz as these guys get ready to know, coming up on lap number 2 of Jason Saylor out front. 175s, you need to be in your boat, ready to go. All right, 2 down, 2 to go. Andy Kurtz beginning to move up a bit on Andrew. Look at this. Andy Kurtz got inside. And unfortunately, Andrew got hosed down. But Andy Kurtz moves into that second spot. Blue and yellow signifies a boat is stopped on the course. White flag for Jason Saylor. Andy Kurtz. Andy now sliding inside as Emmons gets put a lap down. As Jason Saylor now, with less than a half a lap to go, to take the first heat of 500 Runabout. Jason, out of Hamilton, Illinois, over on the Mississippi River, out front and takes it home. Andy Kurtz for second. And Emmons will finish in the third spot. All right, we get Andrew off the water. 175s, you need to be ready to roll. 175s, you need to be ready to roll, please. Again, Austin Vanover, when you get a minute, we need you to come pick up an incident report, please. Thank you, Austin. All right, 175s, we're going to bring Andrew Thurlby into the middle, and we will run your heat. So as soon as we get Kurt into the middle with Andrew Thurlby, then we will get you 30 to the 3. So as soon as we get Curtis to bring him inside the course, we will be ready to go with your first heat of racing. We've got a... well, we got another boat. boats entered for this particular class of 175. Paul Keller out of Cass City, Michigan in the yellow and red 52. Ethan Fox in the orange and blue, number 20. The orange and black of Rex Bear out of Menasha, Wisconsin, boat number 44. Nick Witelka out of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. He'll be in the gray and orange 888. David Jones out of North Windham, Connecticut. He'll be in the D10. Brian Palmquist, the D10 will be a clear deck boat with a yellow tail to it. Brian Palmquist out of Diamond Lake, Illinois. Brian will be in the 10E, which will be a silver-colored boat with a turquoise cowling on it. David Jones and Brian Palmquist driving the David Tenney entries. That's the name, and then the D10E gives you the rest. Brianna Payne will be driving the white number X22 Race for Kids boat out of Center Point, Iowa. Brianna is an active service member, and we thank Brianna for her service in the country's interest. Boat number 83 will be Brett Simmons. Brent, as I indicated earlier when he was testing, he's in the Hall of Fame, but he's not in the Hall of Fame for racing. He's in the Hall of Fame for gymnastics. And it's, believe me, you can get pretty gymnastics in boat racing. Bailey Birkland will be in the the white with the red trim out of Mount Prospect, Illinois, the boat V8. Christy Ellison will be in boat number 22 out of Luxembourg, Wisconsin, a white boat with a day-glow green cowling, and the yellow and blue of Brad Dykert out of Bristol, Indiana, in the 192. Those are the drivers, 11 of them, getting ready to do battle. We're going to have to let that water settle a little bit, guys, on the backstretch. We're getting him down there as quick as we can so we can get going. Again, we welcome all of our fans watching on Facebook. The A-Bears, Heather Saunders Fox watching as well, along with Bobby Laws. And I'll bet John Ruff is in there someplace watching us this weekend here at Constantine. So again, the link for signing on to the affiliate program and to be able to have 3 months for $29.99 is there on our tkdssports.com. Yeah, fortunately, he went pretty fast, but now we just need to get the water to settle down a little bit, guys, before we turn you loose. Now you see our safety boat over there in the middle of the course with the red canopy over the top. That is a very specific type of a boat. When we call it the safety boat, that is the boat that heads to an accident, and the bow of that boat will actually go down into the water, and we have a wire basket in that boat as well that we can get under a driver. We can get the basket under a driver and be able to float him into the boat rather than having to pull on him or do any more damage than might have been done in the accident. And then we can roll the bow back up and be ready to go. $30 to the 3, guys. 30 to the 3. 175 hydro, 11 of them. A great turnout of 175s. K-Pro, get them back to the water. K-Pro, as soon as the 175s are off the beach, you need to be in the water, please. All right, we're coming up on the 3-minute gun here shortly. All right, guys, the gun's in the air. There it is. Green flag. Well, thank you, John Matthews. I appreciate that. You're a good man, sir. Hope all is well with that brand new baby sailor, and you and Bailey are doing fine. All right, as we get ready to go, Nick Watelka on the water. Here comes Paul Keller. Well, that motor is just not giving him what he needs. It's loaded up. There's too much fuel getting into the cylinders. Hopefully he can burn it off now. As Brad Dykert now comes to the water. Well, he changed the color to black now. As Brad Dykert, who's won championships. There's Christy Ellison on the water. Brett Simmons is on the water. Nick Watelka, Rex Bear, Brianna Payne. Looks like Ethan Fox is having a little bit of a struggle to get that motor to clean out for him. Well, he's got a couple of minutes yet to go to see if he can get it to break free. That's Brian Palmquist right there. David Jones, Bailey Birkland, Rex Bear, Brad Dykert, Brianna Payne, the 22. Got a blue and yellow. All right, here they come out of the bottom corner now. Look at this, all those rooster tails. Got one coming up. Palmquist. Brianna Payne, Dykert. Did we have a malfunction on the clock? Yeah, we'll call it on the water. As David Jones out front with Brianna Payne on the inside. Brett Simmons sitting right down here in the front straightaway. He's going to stand up, make sure everybody knows who he is and where he is. As Brett Simmons, as David Jones, Brianna Payne, Brad Dykert, Palmquist, Christy Ellison. Well, Nick Watelka now going dead in the water. Now we had one gun jumper, 10E. That was Brian Palmquist. As Bailey Birkland had struggles keeping that motor running. And Nick Watelka having trouble keeping it running as Rex Bear now. But David Jones, whoa, look at that in the bottom corner as Brianna Payne and Dykert dicing it out as Brianna in that second spot. The boat, the turquoise top, the silver boat has been disqualified. As now down the backstretch, David Jones out of North Windham, Connecticut, out front with Brianna Payne in the second spot out of Center Point, Iowa. Bristol, Indiana's Brad Dykert. Now up the front straightaway. David Jones looking for the white flag with 1 to go. K-Pros, get him in the water. K-Pro to the water. Well, Brianna Payne has been able to hold off Brad Dykert so far. But Dykert just turned inside of Brianna. They'll go down the backstretch. Watch this. As Dykert. Brianna now out front. She got a little bit of a lead. But Dykert on the outside. He's going to try a long way around. Brianna will come through that corner. As now David Jones will come for the checkered flag. As Brianna and Dykert, look at this. That second spot is Dykert. Got her right at the bottom corner. What a run for David Jones as Brian Palmquist led him up to the start-finish line, and unfortunately, he jumped the gun and was not able to receive points for it as David Jones, driving the David Tenney entry, takes the win. All right, K-Pro, you need to be ready to roll. K-Pro, you're up next. 125 runabouts, you're going to be right behind them. 125 runabouts. You are right behind the K-Pro. Then we'll go 500 runabout and 175. All right, K-Pro, you need to be in the water, please. K-Pro. So again, your winner in that heat of racing was the D10 of David Jones. Second spot went to Brad Dykert out of Bristol, Indiana. And the third spot to Center Point, Iowa's Brianna Payne. Those are your top three. The top winner, the winner gets 400 points, 300 for second, 225 for third. K-Pro, you need to be in the water. And 125 runabouts right behind them. K-Pro, you'll be up next. You need to be in the water, please. Yeah, we're working on the finish of the 175 as we had a couple of drivers that had engine trouble out on the course, and then finally we're able to clean it out and finish. But we're trying to make sure that we get them in the right order. And that's why the quick delay that we've got going. 30 to the 3, K-Pro, 30 to the 3. Your winner in that first heat out of Spring Valley, Illinois, in the white boat Red trim was Joe Perez out of Spring Valley, Illinois. Braden Griskowitz got the third spot. He's out of Wadsworth, Ohio. Dawson Smith in the orange and gray Thompson Brothers Racing Hydro. He finished in the second spot out of Mexico, New York. We'll look to see if Camden Vasquez out of Oglesby, Illinois can answer the call for the second heat. There it is, guys. Well, it looks like Joe Perez came off the beach, and the motor quit on him as soon as he came off. So he's trying to swim his way back to the shore and have some help to get him running again. But he's only got about a minute and a half to do so. Twenty seconds. Well, unfortunately, was not able to get it to continue on. 15. Trying to get him fired up. 3, 2, 1. Flag. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like Joe was able to get it fired back up again. And your winner in that first heat finds himself on the beach. Not a fun place to be for that young man after he showed some great speed. As Ethan Fox just going by, waved to Mom. Ethan. Ethan's mother, Heather, is at home watching us on live stream. Give Mom a wave. There you go. Heather, that was for you. All right, as we get ready to go with heat number 2 of our K-Pro, that opens the door for Dawson Smith and Braden Griskowitz. All right, here we go. 125s, get them in the water, guys. 125s, to the water, please. 125s, you're up next. All right, coming up for the start. Dawson was right there at the line at the start as he completes lap number 1 of 3. Dawson Smith out of Mexico, New York. Almost said Mexico, Missouri, which is not too far from Columbia, Missouri. But Mexico, New York for Dawson Smith as he finds himself out front in a boat motor that has won many national titles. Well, Dawson brought a parcel of racers with him, as his brother and his grandfather will all be running today. This is an amazing thing to watch. All right, one more to go for Dawson. You know, it's kind of interesting. Dawson, at least a second generation, if not more, in terms of his driving. But we have a young man that'll race tomorrow in the 125 hydro, and that's Cooper Thompson, which we talked about earlier. Cooper is a fifth generation driver, and we've got a lot of third and fourth generation drivers as well. So it is a great family sport, and once you get hooked, pretty tough to get that hook out of your mouth. I've always said about boat racing, it has to quit you before you can quit it. And I don't think I've ever seen it happen. All right, Dawson Smith now will come through the bottom corner looking for the checkered flag. John Palmquist standing there with that. John will be out later today in the Mike Schmidt Racing entry. As Dawson Smith, your winner in heat number 2, with Braden Griskowitz now picking up a second spot. So Dawson Smith with 700 points, going to be pretty tough to beat in the next 2 heats that will run tomorrow. 125s, get them ready to roll, guys. 125 runabouts, you need to be in the boat ready to roll. Be the second heat for 125. With Mike Werner out of Dunnville, Ontario, Canada, in the 51, the blue boat was your winner. The second place boat was the yellow boat of Brad Dykert out of Bristol, Indiana. Third spot went to the yellow with the white tail of Brandon Payne in the X3 out of Center Point, Iowa. And Ethan Fox out of Council Bluffs, Iowa in the orange and blue 20. Paul, we need a new radio in the John boat that's coming to you. All right, 125s, get them ready to roll. And right after that will be the 500 runabouts. And hopefully we'll see Mark Griskowitz and Austin Vanover back on the water, hopefully. I don't know how much damage was done to Austin's boat, but we have in the pit area 100-mile-an-hour duct tape. And so hopefully we'll be able to fix that. Yeah, we've had our third boat, pleasure boat, coming out onto the course. So hopefully we can get evidently there is a ramp that they can get to that hasn't been locked as it should. So we're hopeful that we can get all this finished up, get him down through the course, and get ready to roll. And we send our turn judge back to the water. With the new radio. We're in constant communication with our turn judges in each corner, along with our safety boat. As now we've got him going pretty good. And get him down or up the river, I should say. And once we get that water to settle down, we'll be ready to go. Again, our winner in that first heat, Mike Werner out of Canada. I know the engines were running the last time I was talking about that, but Mike was kind of trapped in his country as Canada was not allowing travel and with the pandemic. And unfortunately, he was not able to get out and race with us last year, but certainly glad to see him and Sachs and that group coming out and racing. They are a great group, and we love having them with us. So again, fans, the $29.99 special running right now at boatracing.tkdssports.com. So we've got the ability to give you a $29.99 special and allow you to have access to all national titles that will be run this year for inboard, the pro, the mods, the stock nationals, along with the NBRA nationals at Centralia in the middle of August. So as soon as we get the water to settle down a little bit, guys, we'll turn you loose. $30 to the 3, guys. 30 to the 3. Heat number 2 of 125 Runabout. 500s. Get them to the water, guys. 500s to the water. Again, the blue, call it egg blue, robin egg blue of the Werner entry, the orange and blue of Ethan Fox, the all yellow of Brad Dykert, and the yellow with the white tail, the X3 of Brandon Payne. Again, your winner was Mike Werner in the robin egg blue, with the yellow of Brad Dykert in the second spot. The third spot went to Brandon Payne, and the fourth spot to Ethan Fox. Well, we hear one of them firing up. And here comes the second one. And there is Brandon Payne on the water, along with Ethan Fox. Waiting on Werner and Brad Dykert to come. I hear Werner firing up. And over here toward the bottom corner, we see Brad in the boat, but hasn't fired it up yet. And last time he got it fired up right before the 1 minute gun went off. If he was unable to get it to fire, he would have been disqualified if he came out after the white flag was shown. Looks like they're getting ready to fire him up. There we go. As Dykert now in the 192. The X3 of Brandon Payne. Ethan Fox in the orange and blue. Number 20. $500 runabouts. Get them to the water, guys. 500 runabouts. You're up next. And there's Mike Werner, the winner in that first heat. All right, they'll gather up together on the backstretch. They have to have all three of those buoys in the bottom corner on their left as they come for the start. Dykert and Brandon Payne side by side coming out of the corner. Brandon will come wide. Werner comes to the inside along with Ethan Fox. Here they come for the start. Ethan outside, Werner inside. Dykert up the front straightaway with the lead. Werner comes through that corner, but Dykert right alongside of him, hidden in that rooster tail. Down the backstretch they go. Brandon Payne and Ethan Fox for third and fourth. 500s, get them ready to roll, guys. 500s in the water, please. Werner and Dykert. Werner beginning to pull the lead again as Mike Werner out of Dunnville, Ontario, Canada, out front. Mike got to the inside when he came up for the start, and that made all the difference in the world as Brad Dykert had to go the long way around, and that put him at a disadvantage and gave Werner the room he needed to get out front as Mike Werner and Brandon Dykert, Brad Dykert, and then Brandon Payne has fallen back to fourth as Ethan Fox takes that third spot now. $500s, get them ready to roll, guys. 500. All right, next time by, Werner will be looking for the white flag with one more to go. As Mike Werner going to put, if he wins this heat, he'll put 800 points in the bank. Dykert would have 600. Down out of the bottom corner now, Ethan Fox and Brandon Payne still fighting it out for those third place points. With Werner now with less than a half a lap to go over Dykert, Ethan Fox and Brandon Payne. Now Brandon turns inside of Ethan now, as Brandon trying to gain that third spot. But here comes your winner, the 55 rather, of Mike Werner. The 192 of Brad Dykert. Oh, Brandon Payne got it going again, and he got the third spot away from Ethan as Brandon Payne out of Center Point, Iowa, and Council Bluffs, Iowa, Ethan Fox. But look at Ethan. He's trying. Well, with the points now, 800 points for Mike Werner, 600 for Brad Dykert, and 450 for Brandon Payne, and 338 for Ethan Fox. Those will be the points that they go to the third and final heat of racing. All right, 500 runabouts. You need to be in the boat in the water, please. All right, 30 to the 3. 30 to the 3 for 500 runabout. That 30 to the 3 means they've got 30 seconds to get settled into the boat, get ready to go. Once that 3-minute gun is fired, these guys will be on the clock on the water. Jason Saylor was your winner in that first heat, with the second spot going to Andrew Thurlby. I'm sorry, Andy Kurtz. I beg your pardon, Andy Kurtz. And the third spot went to Jake Emmons. Now we see Jason Saylor on the water. We'll look to see if Austin Vanover or Mark Griskowitz can get back out. 175 hydros, get them to the water, guys. 175s to the water. Now we understand that Austin Vanover's boat, the whole side is out of it, so we'll not look to see him on the water. As now Andy Kurtz coming out. Oh, that didn't sound good. We got plenty of duct tape, but Andy, I don't know if they can get it to him and get him started again, but we'll see. Now, Austin, I don't know that we've got enough duct tape to get him back on the water as Andy's wife, Bailey, comes out. Whoa! Bailey trying to get to Andy to get him refired. I don't know that they'll have enough time. They're swimming to him. Don't try it. Now there's evidently some major catastrophic for him. And unfortunately, Andy will be sitting on the beach. Well, we started with 6 of them. And I see one. Well, why we got a little quiet? We got a young man that had a birthday today. Buzzy Buskirk. Happy birthday, my good man. We hope you're having a great day today. And thank you for the crew that with Joe Perez and Bosniks, Buzzy, all that work last night for the meal that we had was fantastic. All right, the only boat left out of the 6, Jason Saylor.
One lap.
Well, we're going to give Jason a lap and then throw the checkered flag, as he does not need to run the whole heat. As Jason Saylor out of Hamilton, Illinois. Great young man out of the Eldridge Racing family. I think he's the 4th generation of drivers out of the Eldridge family. His mama, Susan, our chief scorer. All right, 175s, you need to be ready to go. 175s, you need to be in your boat, please. 175, you're up next. Our winner in the 175 was David Jones out of North Windham, Connecticut in the clear deck with the yellow tail. Out of North Windham, Connecticut, David Jones in the David Tenney entry. The second place boat was Brad Dykert out of Bristol, Indiana in the yellow and black 192. The third spot went to Brianna Payne in the race for kids white X22 out of Center Point, Iowa. And the fourth spot went to Christy Ellison in the white boat with the Dayglow green cowling out of Luxembourg, Wisconsin. And the fifth spot went to Rex Bear out of Menasha, Wisconsin in the orange and black 44. We've got 11 of them that are eligible. We'll see how many of them are able to answer the call for the second heat. Well, hopefully Andy can get that motor solved, the problem that it had. Hopefully he didn't seize it up. The Kurtz family been around racing forever with Grandpa Mel and then Jerry and Tom and Dan Kurtz. Dan retired last year from racing, and it was a great tribute to him, as Ike Yoder will be in the Dan Kurtz entry later on this weekend, as he is putting Ike into the boat of the H4 capsule boat that will be out later today. All right, 175s, you need to be ready to roll.
They're all on the boat. They're ready when you guys are. How about you, big ball? Ready up there?
30 to the 3, 175 hydro. You're up next. 175 hydro. You're ready to roll. And then we'll come back with 125 runabout. 125 runabout, you'll be right after the 175 hydro. So 125s get them working back to the water. Then we go 500 runabout, 175 hydro, and that'll complete the first half of today's program. So again, fans, it'll give you time to get over to the concession stand and be able to get a good sandwich or a cold drink and support the American Legion. We surely appreciate that. .125 runabouts, get them to the water. 125s, get them to the water, please. All right, guys, we get ready to go with 175. Here comes Brianna Payne right up the front straightaway in the Race for Kids boat. That's a charity down in Florida. Got Ralph Donald and Gary Levin and Bill Hostler helped put together and has sponsored a lot of our races down in Florida. As we see Brad Dykert on the water along with Ryan Palmquist. Now we got a blue and yellow flag as we have David Jones. Oh boy, he was your winner in that first heat as David Jones now sits over on the backstretch. Well, that opens the door for Brad Dykert, who finished second in that first heat. And our third place boat of Brianna Payne. That'll open the door to them, along with Christy Ellison, who finished fourth. And the orange and black boat over there was Rex Baer, who finished fifth. But let me tell you, don't count out that silver boat with the turquoise top, driven by Brian Palmquist. He jumped the gun in the first heat, but now with Jones sitting over on the backstretch, that opens up a whole different story on the point system. Here they come. Good start. Palmquist, Rex Baer, Dykert, Brianna Payne. Ellison loaded up the motor and was not able to keep it going, and now gets it to fire. As Brian Palmquist in the David Tenney entry out front of Dykert. Rex Baer in third, Brianna Payne in the fourth spot, and the fifth spot would go to Christy Ellison as it sits. Look at this, Dykert up the inside. Brad Dykert and Palmquist. Brad Dykert out front of Palmquist now. Rex Baer for second, or third rather, and then Brianna Payne and Christy Ellison. Well, this will be really interesting. If it finishes like this, Dykert will have 700 points with a second in one heat and a first. And look at this, Brianna Payne now moves into that third spot ahead of Rex Baer. So Dykert would have 700 points. Brianna Payne would have 450, and David Jones with 400. Now Dykert begins to stretch the lead over Brian Palmquist in the David Tenney entry, with Brianna Payne in that third spot. Watch the rooster tail out of this corner. Look at that, as that turning fin kicks up a whole wall of water as he comes through that corner. As Dykert now out front with the white flag showing with one more to go. Palmquist for second. Brianna Payne, Ethan Fox, and Christy Ellison. Got too many orange boats. That's Rex Bear, not Ethan Fox. It seemed like everybody went orange in the last couple of years. As Brad Dykert, your winner, out of Bristol, Indiana. The second spot goes to Brian Palmquist. The third spot to Brianna Payne. The fourth spot to Rex Bear. And the fifth spot will go to Christy Ellison. So with Brad Dykert finishing out front, he now has 700 points. All right, we got a couple of boats over on the backstretch we've got to get off the course, and Ethan Fox and David Jones yet to get. Both of those on the backstretch, unfortunately not able to run. And David Jones had won that first heat of racing. Once again, guys, we want to just remind you, you have a lane established when you come around that last buoy as you come for the start. So you need to stay in that lane all the way to the buoy. To the start-finish line, that lane has to be established and stayed in as you come up for the start. .125s, get them in the water, guys. Well, Brad Dykert's going to be a worn-out young man. He's going to jump out of the 175 hydro and now back into the 125 runabout. Fans can give you time to get over to the concession stand and enjoy a good cold drink or something to eat over there. Again, our thanks to the support of the American Legion Post. Let's help them out as they've helped us out over 50 years in a row that we've been racing here at Constantine. And we get ready for the last 3 heats of this flight, and we'll take a pause for the cause, and we'll come back with 9 more heats of racing yet to go. Okay, Brad, you need to put your helmet on. We're going to get ready to go. Now we check with each of the drivers to ascertain whether they're going to be able to go back out onto the course again. And David Jones says his boat will be ready to go for the third and final heat. So we'll pull him on in and give his crew with David Tenney entry a chance to get that put back together. And we'll see about Ethan. It looks like Ethan's coming in as well. So he may have a chance to come back for that third and final heat as well. When you've driven, 1,000 miles to come race with us, and gas at $5 a gallon, or in my case, it's at $5.25 down in the Indy area, you get to that point where you've got to help guys get to the water. I was visiting with one of our drivers that came up from Florida, and he said it was $1,800 into the gas tank, pulling his motorhome, pulling his trailer. And we're grateful that they're able to do that and come race with us. Next month, well, no, I shouldn't say next month, the end of this month. Since we've turned the corner, the Nationals at Lake Depew will come up, and we're looking for a great turnout. We're hopeful that guys that are long distance will find the big trailers and vehicles that they can put 30 to the 3, guys, 30 to the 3. Again, Mike Werner with 800 points is your winner so far in terms of the most points, with Brad Dykert with 600, with Brendan Payne with 450. 500s get him in the water ready to go right after the 125 runabouts. All right, here it comes, guys. You are on the clock. The 3-minute gun has been fired. And we hear young Brandon Payne headed out to the water. His dad, Brian, will be out later this week in the 350 runabout. As I believe Brandon is a third generation. His grandpa Terry was racing as well. And there's Brad Dykert. And we're looking for Ethan Fox and for Mike Werner, your winner in the first 2 heats of racing. Oh, the motor for Werner sounded a little bit off. Andy, give us a wave if you're going to be able to go out. Yes, he will. Andy will be ready to go. . All right, there's Brandon Payne in the yellow X3. Mike Werner over on the backstretch, just going into the bottom corner in the blue boat. The yellow of Brad Dykert. We don't see Ethan Fox on the water. Well, I can promise you there's nothing more satisfying than taking 3 heat wins in your class. 1,200 points is just dynamite. All right, 500 runabouts. Get them ready, guys. 500 runabouts. You're up next. Of course, Jason Saylor with 2 heat wins will take that point lead into the final heat. All right, Werner on the inside, Dykert outside. They were asleep as Werner, Dykert, and Brandon Payton. Down the backstretch now, Werner beginning to stretch the lead already as Mike, in that beautifully prepared boat and motor combination, has had his way in the 125 runabout. We'll see him later in the 250 runabout as well. All right, lap number 1 comes down as Werner out front. Again, speeds of about 70 miles an hour out of these little 1-cylinder motors. Brandon is porpoising, bouncing up and down, and that really scruffs the speed off of him. As Werner, look at that nose of the boat. It's just perfect as he goes down that backstretch. The nose of the boat in the air, the bottom of the boat firmly glued to the water. As Werner now comes through the bottom corner out front of Dykert and Brandon Payne. All right, lap number 2 of the 4 is Werner out front. Werner out of Dunnville, Ontario, Canada, out front. Will be looking for the white flag from John Palmquist as he'll come around that bottom corner with 1 more to go after this one. 500 runabouts, get them in the water, guys. 500 runabouts to the water. One more to go for Mike Werner. Well, Brandon beginning to catch Dykert. Brandon Payne. Oh, the motor just let go. Oh, my. Well, they always say they run really good just before they blow up. Unfortunately, we saw that big plume of water, and it was either the lower unit or he stuck a piston to cause that engine to stop dead like that. And then the prop becomes a plow through the water and throws up a big rooster tail. All right, Werner now will look for the checkered flag. Back to back to back heat win for Mike Werner. What a great start for the weekend for Mike, as he showed the speed And he will be the guy we'll look to for Depew at the National Championships later on this month. So if you'd like to see racing, that'll start on Tuesday afternoon and will go till Sunday night. All right, 500s, get them ready to roll, 500s. But if you'd like to see racing, it'll start at noon on Tuesday, and then we'll go 9 to about 6 o'clock on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will be at Depew for our national championship. Depew is about 2 hours west of Chicago, just off of Interstate 80 at the Ladd Spring Valley exit for Depew. If you can't make it, go to boatracing.tkdssports.com right now, and you can sign up for a streaming for only $29.99. That will give you not only Depew, but it will give you the stock nationals over at Springfield, Ohio. We'll give you the inboards out on the East Coast for their nationals, and it will give you the NBRA nationals at Centralia, Illinois. So for 3 months for $29.99, that's a great bargain. And if you sign on and use the link, you can actually, in our Alliance program, receive a credit of 10% for each person that signs in. 30 to the 3, guys. 30 to the 3. Well, we'll see if Andy Kurtz is able to answer the call. Along with up, we'll see Andy waving his arm. He's up and ready to go. And we'll look for Andrew Thurlby, Jake Emmons, Jason Saylor. We'll see if Mark Griskowitz can come back for the third and final heat. We understand the whole side is out of Austin Vanover's boat, so that's a non-starter. There's Jason Saylor headed to the water. $175s, get them ready, guys. $175s, you are up next. $175s, you are up next. That'll be our last heat of the first half of the program as we see Jake Emmons on the water in the M96 along with Jason Saylor. Andy Kurtz now fires up. As Andy now getting ready to roll. We've got 3 of the 6 we started with, but we know that Austin had some real damage to his, and Mark Griskowitz probably did as well. Andy Kurtz was involved in that, but fortunately did not do enough damage to keep him off the water. All right, we're going to be up on our 1-minute gun here shortly. Up, we had one go down. Looked like Jake Emmons not able to keep it running as he and Andy, Jason and Andy, are the 2 boats running. I can tell you this, Jason will never quit, and he's got a partner on that water that is the same drive as he and Andy will still give you a show. Now, Jake Emmons is down in that bottom corner, but with only 2 boats running, I think the guys, when they're going by Jake right now, will know where he needs to be. All right, Andy up the inside, Jason outside. They're early. Here they come. Well, there's what you see when you get a great start. Because Jason was at full speed coming to the start-finish line, and Andy had to back off a little bit. But now, look at Andy, down the backstretch. We did have one gun jumper, boat M16, Jason Saylor, but he's already won as he had 800 points, and Andy cannot catch him even though he jumped. But the beauty of it is we don't tell them on the water that they jump.
He got through that.
175s, get them ready to roll. 175s, you're up next. Can you imagine this? Our chief scorer is Susan Eldridge Saylor, and just disqualified her own son. Looking at the pad, the iPad showed that Jason was over. No, Jason won't be able to say, "Mom, what did you do to me?" She'll just show him the iPad. And it showed that Jason had gotten over the start-finish line before the clock reached 0. Jason out front of Andy, but Andy will pick up the 400 points for the win if he can keep it running. As the white flag now will come with one more lap to go. Jason will receive the white flag along with Andy. Down the backstretch now. Jason Saylor out in front on the water, but unfortunately it will not give him the win, but he will win overall with enough points out of the first 2 heats to take it. Look at this, Andy. He's really trying. He came inside. Look at this. Jason, by about a half a boat length, Andy didn't know that Jason had been disqualified, so he ends up about a half a boat length out with Jason out front of him. All right, 175s, you need to be ready to roll. $175s. Got to drag Jake Emmons in from the middle, or from the outside of the course rather, and bring him into the middle, and then we'll be able to go. $175s, you need to be in the water, in the boat. As soon as we get Jake Emmons inside the course, you're going to go 30 to the 3. All right, 30 to the 3, guys. 30 to the 3 for the last heat of this flight 175 hydro. All right, as we get ready for 175 hydro, it's going to be pretty interesting. You've got Brad Dykert with 700 points. You've got Brianna Payne with 450. And you have David Jones with 400. And Brian Palmquist with 300. Those are your top boats as Dykert has a shot at taking the 175 championship. All right, we see Christy Ellison, Nick Witelka coming to the water. Nick been having trouble all weekend trying to get that motor to clean out. There's Christy Ellison in that white with the Dayglow green on the backstretch. Brianna Payne in the white boat. Rex Bear in the 44. The yellow and black of Brad Dykert. The 83 of Brent Simmons. All right, guys, we need to get a count to the American Legion post for the number of steak dinners. So if you have not bought your steak dinner ticket yet, come over to the judges stand, and we've got them here. And they're $15, but it's a great buy, let me tell you. For 15 bucks with a steak dinner with all the trimmings. Yeah, we got a blue and yellow. Got a boat over on the backstretch. Ethan Fox in the orange and blue. The orange 44 of Rex Bear. Haley Birkland trying to swim out of the way. Here they come for the start. Ethan Fox and Rex Bear. Dykert, Palmquist, Ellison, Brianna Payne, Brent Simmons. Down the backstretch now, Ethan Fox out front. All boats are legal. They were pushing that start, but they all were legal as Ethan Fox and Dykert in that second spot. Christy Ellison for the fourth spot as David Jones off the pace. Not able to keep it running at speed as now Dykert. Oh, Ethan Fox had the lead and saw it all go away in that bottom corner as Ethan now Brad Dykert with the lead will come around for lap number 2. Ethan Fox, sitting in a pretty precarious position, shows that paddle as he wants those drivers to know where he's at. Dykert, Palmquist, Ellison, Brianna Payne, and Brett Simmons. Brad Dykert out of Bristol, Indiana, your point leader out front for the third and final heat over Brian Palmquist, Christy Ellison, Brianna Payne, and Brent Simmons. One more to go now for Brad Dykert. Palmquist for second. Ellison now being challenged by Brianna Payne. Brianna on the outside. Ellison pushes her out a bit as they go to that corner. Brianna had to take the long way around, and Christie was able to get a little bit of a lead. As now Dykert will come out of the bottom corner and look for the checkered flag. As Brad Dykert out front. And your winner as Dykert now with 1,100 points takes the win overall, with Palmquist, Ellison, and Brianna Payne. And Brent Simmons will finish up in that 5th spot. Well, fans, that calls the race to a little bit of a break. As we'll pause for the cause, we'll change out on our turn judges.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. This is where we take our mid-day break. We're going to stop the stream here for a minute, let our recordings catch up with us, put this first flight in the books, and we'll be back with about 15, 20 minutes to go from now and start our second set of flights today. We have 3 classes in that flight, some big ones coming. So just hold on to your horses. But this is the time to get your popcorn, your pizza, your drink, whatever you need, your margaritas if you're that What's Up Doc Racing team. And that. So we'll be back here shortly, folks. You're watching today the PowerMist Boat Racing Series, PowerMist Power Hour, which is every Wednesday night, and the new Motorsports Racing Show every Tuesday night at TKDS Sports. You can find us there on all the social media sites. But we're here racing at Constantine with U.S. Title Series at boatracing.tkds Sports live. Thank you very much for it. We'll be